How's everybody doing? All right. So basically, we're going to be talking about bad voter. I highly recommend, if you ever decide to expose 2 million voter records, don't answer your phone that day. Let it go to voicemail, I promise you, because I did that yesterday and it was kind of interesting. All right, now in 1980, there was a guy named Paul Weyrich, and he had a thing called Goo Goo Syndrome, and he talked about good government groups, and he said, I don't want people to vote. He goes, actually, everybody wants everybody to vote. He goes, I don't want to. Do you know that our actual leverage goes up as the voting populace goes down? And this kind of really upset me. Who in the audience has low T? Go ahead and stand up. Guys, anybody with low T? What it is basically, we're talking about low turnout. The United States has some of the lowest voter participation turnout of any nation in the world. And Oklahoma actually is specifically bad. Usually we say, thank God for Arkansas or Mississippi. The Pew Trust says that election performance in Oklahoma is actually 49th. And Tufts says that youth voting is actually 50 out of 50 for the difference between youth versus adult voting. Now the thing about it, the people that actually vote, conservatives vote, super conservatives vote the most, super liberals vote the next, then moderate conservatives, then moderate liberals, and the people that vote the least are actually moderates. And they're the ones that actually show up least at these different votes. But when the legislators do get to Washington or to our state legislature, the average voter in the majority, what they want, they don't get. It turns out Gillens and Page did a study at Princeton and determined that the people that don't get what they want, very rich people get what they want. Now there's a thing called wisdom of the crowds. There's a great book about this. And basically what it says, as more people are involved in the decision, it's more likely you're going to actually get a better outcome. And there's two guys that wrote a book. One was Sasha GOTV. He wrote Victory Lab. And it's basically called The Secret Science of Winning Campaigns. And then the next people are Gerber and Green. They wrote Get Out the Vote. A lot of people think that means go on TV. And they did field experiments to determine what really increases the chances that people will vote. And what they found out is there's 3 things that people think will get people to vote. Is it a door knock from a neighbor or a phone call from a friend, or is it a letter? It turns out there's a letter that was sent out that was the most effective. There's a guy named Grebner who did a letter with Gerber and Green, and they sent out 180,000 letters. And what they found out was, one letter was like, please vote. The last letter was, by the way, your voting record is public, and here's your voting record and your neighbor's, and we'll be updating that soon. This really pissed people off, but it had a huge effect. It was a 3 times stronger effect than anything that's ever been found. But I don't know my neighbors, and I'm thinking, what if people actually took this to the digital online world? I do know people that, a lot of people that actually have access to the internet. So I called up 2 friends of mine, a guy named Dan Ariely and Mike Norton. They're both behavioral economists, researchers in choice theory and decision making about how people make choices. And they're going to help us try to tweak this and maybe possibly roll it out nationwide. Now what happens is, another study that was done is that if you have some donuts or bagels that are in the office and you say, please pay, people don't pay. But if you draw these cartoon eyes on the same little bucket, all of a sudden people start paying. So also the same thing happens with soccer hooliganism. If you have a security camera, people act better. So the basic overview is to use shame and encouragement, give people a way to commit to showing that they're going to vote more often, give them a plan, then set up a reminders. So how did we do that? Basically, we went to the state election board and got this CD. This is 2 million records of every voter in Oklahoma. And what we did is we decided we're going to put this on the internet. But we want to put it in a way that sort of is not extra bad. We don't want to actually give people's party affiliation or address or birthday. What we want to do is give you the ability to search your voting record frequency and your friend's voting record frequency and let the awareness of everybody know that to increase the chances that people actually want to vote. And what we're going to do is return one thing, and I'm going to give you the website in a second. We're just going to return how many days since you last voted. So it doesn't matter if you voted a lot or a little, but the last time you vote will show up. Now the thing is I decided to look up some famous Oklahomans, and there's about 20 people on this list, you can look it up. I decided to look up people like Blake Shelton and Barry Switzer. Barry Switzer, pretty good voter. Blake Shelton, not so much. Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, never registered in Oklahoma, never voted in Oklahoma. Nick Collison has registered and voted in Oklahoma. And the MFer, Mary Fallon. Mary Fallon actually is a very good voter, and so is her daughter, Christina Fallon. They both voted recently, you can see it. So basically, everyone is going to have multiple times a year where you can reset your civic engagement grade to an A+. All you have to do is vote on a more regular basis. This is the website where you can go look things up. Right now it only works in Oklahoma. It's possible we're going to roll it out more states later. By the way, the lady called me up. She says she plans to vote more often. So get out and vote because your friends are watching. Thank you.